Hey ladies, okay, I'm going to do a tutorial that if you were on the Zoom meeting, I showed you the mask that can be used. I've done it now with elastic, it has a pocket, and it can also be done with the drawstring. So I told you guys this was very easy and very quick, so I'm just gonna show you exactly how simple it is. I'm using the 9.5 by 10 and the 9.5 by 5 piece that people were cutting for Amber's initial tutorial. This can also be done with the one single piece that she did on her second tutorial. But I wanted the contrasting fabric to really make it easy to tell which side was against your face, so I'm using the original cut. I already went ahead and zigzagged the raw edge of the one side of the small piece and one of the large piece. I have the right sides of the fabric together, and I'm going to sew the top seam, and I'm going to do a 1/4 inch seam. Okay, and there's no need to backstitch because you're going to hit those stitches again in a little bit. So now, and notice I haven't pressed this. I will press it eventually, but honestly I hate ironing, so the less I can do of it the better. And this way you get a nice crisp seam exactly where you need it. This shifts around a little bit more than the other pattern did. So I'm going to take the two zigzagged edges and put them together with their right sides together. This is going to make our pocket. We want an opening in the center, probably about 4.5 inches. So I'm just going to sew in from the sides on each side about 2 or 2.5 inches so that we have that nice opening in the center. And I do back stitch on this part. And it doesn't have to be precise. You just want a decent size opening so that someone can fit their filter in there, but not so big that it's open all the way across and falls out when they're wearing it. This one doesn't fit as tight as the other pattern, so the filter can fall out if it's open all the way across. So now that that is sewn, you can see there's our opening for the pocket in the middle there. Now this is our top seam, so I'm going to go ahead and just kind of finger press it, this seam here, and then we're going to do a 1/4 inch seam across each of the short sides. And that is literally just about all there is to it. We're going to turn it right side out. And make sure you poke your corners out. I have this nice little rectangle now. And just going to straighten it up a little bit. Now you can either press it at this point. I like to go ahead and finish the casings first. Looks like I didn't get this corner out all the way. I'm just using my finger. You can use your chopstick, you can use a pencil, anything pointy to get those nice pointy corners poking out there. And I'm going to take the short sides and flip it over just about 1/2 inch, maybe 5/8 of an inch, and we're going to sew that. This is going to make the casing for either your elastic or the drawstring or the cord or the bias tape, whatever we're using at this point in time for it, since we all have elastic coming. Doing this with the elastic right now will be perfect, but this pattern will also work for if and when we run out of elastic again, we can switch to some other form of tie for this. Look at all these loose strings here. All right, Alright, so that is the end of the actual sewing that you have to do for this. This is how quick and easy that was. It's time to snip your threads off of here. And then if you're using elastic, you'll want to use about 10 inches. This does make it a little bit tighter on the ears, so I like to go a little bit bigger on the elastic. I used 8 inches on this one, and it is just a little too tight on me, so I think the 10 inches would be better. You do, once you thread it through, you do have to sew your ends closed. But for when we switch to it, just to show you how this will work with a tie, you would put a safety pin on the end of whatever cord or tie or bias tape that you're using, and you thread it through the casing. And honestly, this is probably what would be the longest part of this process, but it's still not that bad. So we thread it through one side, and you thread it through the other side. If I had a bigger safety pin, this would actually be easier. I'm having a hard time grabbing it. They also sell tools that you can buy to hook onto the end and thread through. They're really nice. I used to have one, but I have no idea what happened to it. Okay, so now that we have that in, the way that people are wearing this is this part goes around your neck. And I've done this backwards every time I've tried it. So it goes around your neck. You pull this part up so that it's tight. And then you can, apparently I can't tie anything there. I'm going to pull this up and tie it. And then adjust this, and you may have to retie it. But there you go, totally adjustable and no marking. I'm going to take this off. Much easier and faster.